Yo, think about this for a second. How we interact with each other has definitely changed. We don't convene in SAC anymore, but the campus vibes are very much alive. The Publications Committee proudly brings you Campus Beats, where we keep you informed on the latest activities, bring you helpful tips from your trusted guild counselors, and most of all, we want to hear from you. So, run tell all your friends. So log on, sit back, relax, and enjoy our program every Thursday at 7 p.m. for the latest news and to help you virtually navigate around campus. See you then.
Good night, everyone. Welcome to Campus Beats, the first episode. And with me today is my feature or my fellow co-host, Sabrina Mohammed, Tamika. We also have our guest host for today, Mr. Vernon Davis. So I'm just going to allow for my feature, my hosts to introduce themselves. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who don't know me, I am Kendall Vincent, your Guild Publications Committee chairperson. And with me, I'm now going to introduce our next host, Sabrina Mohammed.
Hi, good night, everyone. I am Sabrina Mohammed. I'm a second year student here at UE, and I'm looking forward to hosting this program with my fellow co-hosts, and we're going to have a good show. All right, so stay tuned for that.
So next up, Tamika.
Good night, everyone. I am Tamika Thomas. I am also a second year student, and welcome to the first episode of Campus Beats. Let's have a good show.
Next up, we have our GGI Hall Chair, Mr. Vernon Davis. Vernon? Vernon? Vernon, you there, right?
I am. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vernon Davis, and I hope you enjoy the show today.
Great. So right now we're gonna move into our first segment. So essentially, guys, Campus Beats is really a production brought to you by the Guild Publications Committee chairperson. As a committee, we see our role as very integral. We know that COVID has been with us for a while, quite suddenly. But we understand the role and importance of the Publications Committee to keep you, the students, informed and engaged. So this web series is really an entertainment feature to let you know all that's happening on campus, give you a little behind the scenes. We're gonna feature different clubs, and we really have a very action-packed show tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share. Invite your friends to like, and of course, we have some very exciting stuff coming up for you. Our first, I'm now going to hand you over to Tamika, who is going to take us to our first segment to let us know what's on in the University of the West Indies. Tamika?
Welcome to the Campus Beats first segment, the What's On segment. First up on the agenda, we have the UE Guild Council General Elections nominations for 2021. It is officially on. The countdown has officially begun, and students are all invited to nominate themselves, to nominate students for the various positions as president, vice president, secretary, committee chairpersons, and hall representatives, among other positions. Nominations are being conducted entirely online, and they are open from February 1st, and they will end on February the 11th, 2021. Election day is Thursday, the 4th of March, 2021. The nominations forms can be accessed through the student portal, your student email, and the campus website. This is your call to elect a guild that works for you. So students are invited to make the right choice. For more information, you can check out the UWI Guild of Students' Instagram and Facebook pages at One Guild SDA, or you can contact them directly through email, that is guildelection@my.ue.edu. Next up, we have the Department of Creative and Festival Arts, DCFA. They will be hosting their virtual interactive performance workshop program for Arts in Action. It is a carnival yard experience, carnival choices. If you are interested in booking a workshop, contact the Arts in Action TT via Instagram, Facebook, or even Twitter. Please note that it is an entirely virtual event. The Carnival Legacy workshops and Carnival Choices workshops are scheduled to run from February the 8th to the 24th. All workshops will be $500 TT. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. In other news, the UWI Guild Publications Committee workshop Building a Reputable Brand Episode 2 will take place next weekend, Friday, 12th February. Please look out for the updates on the Publications Committee's Facebook and their Instagram pages at UWI Guild PCC. And lastly, the Department of Literary, Cultural, and Communication Studies, DLCCS, in associations with Friends of Mr. Biswas, is proud to present Fantastic Friday Fiesta. The event is carded for the 12th of February 2021. For more information, you can contact Dr. Miraj through the UWI SDA campus events calendar. It is a carnival themed event that is being hosted by the department. The aim is to showcase local talent in the areas of literature, calypso, and spoken word. Its goal is to promote and highlight local talent, authors, poets, university, and secondary school students, and it is open to anyone who is interested in carnival-themed literary events. You can register on Zoom to attend, and persons can also click on the UWI calendar of events to access the link. That's it for our What's On segment. Moving on smoothly, we will now go on to question time, which is the UWI Speak Up Vox Pops question. Do you think the outgoing Guild Council did a good job in representing you? Look out for the Instagram poll. It will be posted either on the UWI Guild of Students' Facebook page at UWI Guild SDA or the Publications Committee's Instagram at UWI SDA PCC. And that's it. Back to you, Kendall.
Great. So thank you, Tamika. Let's just take a bit on that question there. In terms of that student vox pop, because this show, this series is all about you, the students of the University of West Indies, St. Augustine. So we really want to hear, because we know that guild elections is coming up, and we know people tend to say, "Oh, them guild councillors is politicians." Well, you know, this is the first guild that actually have gone through. This is the COVID guild, as we like to call it. We consider ourselves the trendsetters. And I feel like, you know, this year really forced us as, I'm not trying to rig the polls in any way particular, but I would say this year really was a very interesting and innovative year for guild councillors. We were stripped of all the what students receive as the luxuries. So there was no guild retreat, there were no pretty installation ceremony, and really, it really showed up. You had to come to this thing being willing to serve and serve these students because we have been going through a pandemic, and we have continued to be to go through this pandemic. So let me hear, Sabrina, what's your thoughts about the question that is being posed here tonight regarding is it anything that the guild could have done better? What are your thoughts?
I think that the outgoing guild has done a great job because I have reached out to counselors for assistance in various issues, and I have gotten assistance in a timely fashion. So I just want to say props to the outgoing guild and keep up the great work.
Great. Tamika, what are your thoughts?
I definitely agree. I thought that it was interesting to see how the guild would navigate the virtual space. I think that they have done an excellent job in keeping the students abreast of all events, any matters that they have been concerned with. Yes, so they definitely, I'm looking forward to see some familiar faces for the upcoming semester.
Familiar faces. That's interesting. Some of us may probably be counting our days down. Renan, what are your thoughts? What are some of your guild experience?
Well, I'm naturally biased.
navigating this whole thing?
I'm naturally biased. So I'm going to say that Gil was amazing. I think given the circumstances, and especially the fact that the pandemic was completely a curveball to everyone, I think we pretty much were resilient and we were quick to move and shift to a virtual platform. I know specifically for JGI, it was something that we were hoping for to expand the horizon just from the traditional events and try to bring new and innovative events and activities to our residents. So it was a natural progression for us. And I think for the Guild in general, I think that we did a good job in navigating this virtual platform and trying to, bring about change unexpectedly. So I think we did a great job. But I'm biased, so I'll look to see what you have to say, you, the general public. And back to you,
Great.
Kendall.
To me, in terms of my experience at the Guild, I definitely think that it was not an easy ride for those persons. Many of you all probably see all the things that I put out there, but then there's always the back end of stuff. There were challenges, if I'm to be quite honest. But I think all in all, we soldiered it through. We held it together. We're here. We're counting down the days until we officially pass the baton on to that next generation of student leaders. There may be some returning. There may be some new faces. All in all, I really, really enjoyed my experience serving UD students. And of course, I would be a little biased. So I'll give us the A. But of course, UD students, this is not about us. This is about UD students. So you feel free to join the IG poll that will be posted on the Guild social media platforms, as well as the PCC platforms. And stay tuned next week. You will get the results of that student Vox Pop polls, telling us what did you think about the representation afforded to you over the past semester. And it's very important to know that our next segment in today's episode or today's show of Campus Beat Season 1 is very important to know where we came from, to know where we're going. And one of the things that the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus has always been strong on is that of our relationship with our alumni. We had a lot of trailblazers, a lot of, persons that would have, moved on from the university. And the next person that I'm going to introduce you, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Vernon Davis, our guest host for today. And of course, he's coming from the Faculty of Medical Sciences and also the JHI Hall. He's the Hall Chair or the outgoing Hall Chair. And I'm going to allow him to take this opportunity to introduce our Where Are They Now alumni and our guests for today. Vernon?
All right, thank you, Kendall. Today we have with us no other than our very own marketing guru, Miss Chanel Felix. So let's welcome her to the camera today. Hi, how are you today, Chanel?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm extremely excited to be a part of this new era in UE communication. In our time, I don't think we were as creative to think about doing these things, although we were on campus. So it's really nice to be a part of the start of a new era in UE's history.
Well, we're so glad to have you here. Welcome you to my couch.
Welcome you to my room as well.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, first of all, I think my biggest accomplishment, something that I always love staking claim to, is the fact that I am a Tobagonian, born, bred Tobagonian. A little bit about me. How deep are we gonna go? Surface level or deep?
Let's start surface and just dive in.
Okay, well, let me see. I want to start off with the fact that I would say that I went to one of those high schools that people deem to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Those high schools that nobody wants their kids to pass for. That's where I think we could start off this story. I went to one of those high schools where nobody really truly expected anything of the students that went to that school. And at that place, I actually totally excelled above my counterparts, and I was one of those very few individuals to go off to UE Open Campus, and from there I would have gone on to being at the University of the West Indies main campus, St. Augustine. I would have had a lot of personal struggles in my personal life. My mom at the time single mom, suffered from mental health issues. So that was really difficult for me, especially being a young woman coming from Tobago and all the struggle that comes with that. It's never really easy. You know, you look at the Tobagonians on campus, but trust me, it really don't be easy coming from Tobago to, you know, it's very similar to that of the regional students, I would say. But while at UWI, I kind of realized that it was a time for me to use my story to propel myself. I had to use my struggle to truly find a vision to break out and break free. We have a saying that people could use, like, there could be siblings, and one sibling could become a drunkard because of the same situation that could totally make another sibling become the president or the prime minister. So I think at that UWI level where I began to read and expose myself to a lot of different theories, that's when I started reading like How to Think and Grow Rich, you know, how to win friends and influence people. I started reading a lot at the university level, and I found my tribe. And while finding my tribe kind of encouraged me, like, Chanel, you know, you are so enthusiastic and charismatic. Why not join the guild? And that's when I went on to join the Guild of Students, and I became the representative for the Faculty of Humanities and Education. During my time there, I would say that being a part of the UWI Guild kind of gives you this understanding of the level of impact that your voice has as a young person, both on campus and nationally. So being at the UWI kind of encouraged me to get into that behavior and that attitude of advocacy. And I would say that's where my passion for speaking and having my voice heard truly started. As I said, like many other young women from Tobago, other young women from the region, it had been a difficult struggle being at the university amidst all the other things that were happening in the background at home and all of that. But one thing I could tell you about UWI is once you find your tribe, trust me, you would be fine. I used to live on Sal Hall. And, you know, we had that Tobago clique. We had the Tobago group, and they truly held me up, you know, always encouraging, always supporting. And it's sad that we're not on campus anymore during this time. But you see that family base, finding your clique, finding your tribe, that is the only thing I believe that could truly help you to continue to sustain throughout the ups and downs of university life, right? With everything that goes on there. After there, I think I went on to be a part of the international the International Youth Council. I think that was under the UN. We had a branch in Trinidad and Tobago under the past UWI Guild president, that was Mackenzie Peters. So we got the opportunity to travel and go to a number of different conferences and stuff. But after a while, you know, you think to yourself, okay, what else is there for me to do? I feel like I have done all that I can do in this space of Trinidad and Tobago, and I always felt like there's so much more for me to do, so much more for me to accomplish, so much more for me to be. Mind you, while I was at UWI, I never thought that I was going to go and do a master's degree or any more school. Because I thought, listen, when I'm done with this bachelor's degree, I'm done with school. I think a lot of us have that idea.
Yeah. So where are you now, actually?
I'm currently at the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow. What's it like there?
That decision actually came in my last year in school. I was living with friends off campus. We were actually sharing an apartment. At that point in time, you know, we were broke, right? So we were sharing this apartment. And even in the midst of that struggle, that's when the greatest ideas and concepts would have came about. And we began to dream so big, even on such a small budget. And we all came together, and right now, most of my friends are all over the world that lived together in that house. We are all distributed throughout the globe. And that is just a testament to show that your strength really comes from your network and the people that you have supporting. So UWI would have really, truly shaped me to be the person that I am for today. All the struggles, all the ups and downs. That campus has a lot of memories on it, both good and bad. But for the most part, truly shaped my character.
What would you say would be your fondest moment at UWI then?
I wouldn't say the most fondest, but this is the most memorable. I remember there was a time where I was struggling financially, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always had extreme faith. My faith was just out the roof. Like we always had a lot of faith. Remember, I think I read Think and How to Think and Grow Rich. So we used to really practice manifestation, the power of manifestation, and getting into understanding who God is and all of that. I remember that semester, it was my friend and I. We really didn't have. I think we had like a hole on our account because of hall fees or whatever.
Oh.
So that was when they had just introduced a system whereby if you have a hole on your account, you cannot do exams, right?
Yeah.
You can't do they just introduced that. Before you could have done exams and then deal with your holes after.
Mm-hmm.
So this semester we have holes on our accounts and we are going to class like normal, not registered for courses, but with faith. We in class and we do the work and we pass it and we doing what we have to do. I mean, there were times where lecturers would kind of hint to us like, students, if there's anybody here who does not have their registration in check, please make sure that you guys have taken with that senior register, right? And I remember like we just kept praying and we just kept holding the faith, going to class every day, doing our work, doing great work, getting good grades, but still can't even see your grades online.
Oh, wow.
And it was coming down to exam period and we just kept praying. And it was like the week before exam or a couple of days before exam where we got that breakthrough. We got, I think it was financial assistance from the DSSD.
Oh, wow.
And it was like too late to even try. I mean, come on, it's days before exam. How do you register for a course? Like, all you had one. And we went into the office. I think it was of, I can't remember who it was, somebody at the Busery went into his office and he was like, well, there's nothing we could do for you guys at this point. And I remember me and my friend, we sat there, we looked at him and when we left home, we prayed and we said that nobody is going to stand in the way of us leaving UWI this semester. And we went down, we said, we're not leaving until something is done. And we went in circles with this guy for about 30 minutes or an hour. He told us no, he told us no, he told us no. When we left that guy office, best believe we were registered for all our courses and we went and do our exams. Just know that faith is the substance of hope for and things not seen. And if you have faith as a mustard seed, things could really, really work out for you. So I think that UWI really built my faith because a lot of times when people said no, God said yes. Exactly. And when people said yes, God said no. So it truly helped to build my character and my faith that even in the midst of the struggle, once you have that faith, God is going to do it for you, So I think that's one of my most memorable moments in UWI, and that allowed me to know that anything is possible. And once it is man-made, it could be fixed.
Well, there you go. That's a true testimony today. So basically, based on that, do you feel that UWI helped to prepare you for your career? Let's look at that aspect of things.
Well, now I am a marketing strategist. I also one of the executive directors at the Youth Votes Matter campaign. When it comes to youth advocacy and representation, totally, completely. My time at the Guild totally prepared me for life as a youth advocate outside of UWI. Oh, wow. Professionally, no, not at all. Not at all. I didn't participate in one of those World of Work sessions that UWI had offered, so maybe that is to my remiss. But I don't think UWI prepared me in any way. And in a sense, I didn't do in UWI what I am doing now. I studied linguistics and communication studies with a minor in public policy analysis. And now I'm totally into marketing, communication, and political communication. So it's a little bit different, but
so what kind of brought you to this career path now?
Well, I think after that year in between UWI and figuring out who I am and where I wanted to be, I always bought the books that I want. I always saw myself as just being a top level executive boss. I always wanted to be a top level executive boss. And so I began to buy certain books, that reflected the top level management MBA books. One of the books that I have even right here right now is The Hard Thing About Hard Things. So I always liked getting books that reflect bosses. What do bosses do? How to be an effective manager, these things. And from reading these books, I realized that my passion leaned more towards marketing and digital communication. And I also understood that with my love for politics and political representation, that the media is the biggest tool to shaping the mind of the population. So in that way, I was able to combine both management, politics, and media. And so that is where I am right now. That's the work that I do and what I continue to be passionate about.
All right. So then tell us, for students who are UWI now, what advice you give to them to help them find their career path? Because, you know, for some students, I may take math and then eventually I may trickle into something that's different from that. Or I may be interested in something that I may not be studying now. So what advice would you say to them to help them find their passion? Because clearly you found your passion, you found your area of expertise, and you're great at it. So what advice would you give to students?
I think I have two pieces of advice. Number one is don't rush your time in UWI. That was the biggest mistake that me and my friends made. We were so caught up with this graduating 3 years that we took on way more than we could have. We bit off more than we could chew during that time. So whereas there were some smarter students who were in more difficult courses or, you know, like in medicine and engineering and stuff, who would have taken less courses and done it in 4 years, including summers, and they would have done excellent, graduated summa cum laude, you know, and we were trying to do 7 courses in a semester because somebody told us that we had to graduate in 3 years, which is not necessarily what has to be done. It's just a kind of, it's an illusion and it's a pressure that is unnecessary. When it comes to finding your passion, it came from surrounding myself with powerful, influential persons who were my mentors. So when I saw the properties that they own and the type of trading that they were doing on the international market and how they would have gone into the digital currency, and, you know, I was just like, I had this philosophy that God exposes you to where you are going before you get there. So it's so important to surround yourself or get among successful people. And from being around those successful persons in whatever industry it is, you kind of have an idea of the means by which you could really enter into different markets and arenas and be successful. And finally, read. Just read. Just continue to read. You don't have to be in class to read. You don't have to be in school to read. I know we don't have as much time as hours in the day as we want, but read. Just continue to read. Just read. That's it. Just read.
Appreciate that advice. So now then, give us a little bit of a secret. How did you become a boss in this global market? Because from going from UWI to now the Netherlands, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it is. It is. I wouldn't say I'm a boss in the global market yet. I wouldn't say I'm a boss in the global market yet, because until my account start reading boss, then I will take the title. Okay, I'm still in that transition phase, but I think I will continue to say faith, just faith. You had to have a vision, set a vision. I had before I came here, I had a vision board for the year. And that year, every single thing that was on my vision board came to pass.
Oh, wow.
Every single thing. So I would always say, start with a vision for who you want to be, where you want to go. As elaborate or illustrious or far-fetched as it seemed, put it there and believe that it is possible, and begin to work back from there, because anything is possible. I continue to say that there's nothing that is impossible with faith.
Very good point. And I see you lean back onto the concept of faith. So that's very huge. And I hope that a lot of our students get to hear that, because sometimes, especially in this COVID environment, you kind of lose that faith. It kind of shifts, you kind of get wary, and it becomes blurry because you do not know what to do, what will happen tomorrow. So I really appreciate that you bringing that and you're reminding us that, hey, go back to the core elements of what you're taught. That faith, just reach out, stand by that, and you'll be fine. So if I wanted to get some consultancy sessions with you, because, you know, you seem to be really level-minded, you know where you're going, you're making sure that that happens, how can I reach out to you? How can I find out more about you and what you're involved in now?
Well, I think the easiest way to get onto me right now is the marketing guru on Facebook or Chanel Felix on Facebook and Instagram. When it comes to getting that motivation, that good vibes and good energy every Monday morning, I always post Monday motivation videos, because to me, sometimes I lack motivation. So I find myself looking back at my own motivation videos and be like, girl, get your life together. So yeah, join me every Monday morning for Monday Motivation on the Marketing Guru, both on Instagram and on Facebook. And send me a DM, send me a message, and let me know that you're interested in collaborating, being a part of the Youth Votes Matter campaign, or anything that we are a part of. Right now, we are on advocacy. We are advocating for young people to have a say when it comes to policy in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the region. So yeah, just join me and let us have an impact as young persons.
Well, thank you so much, Chanel, for this session. I feel like I could speak to you for hours, but unfortunately, we're going to have to take the floor back to Tamika so she can go and continue our schedule. But thank you so much, Chanel. It was definitely a pleasure to speak with you.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Anytime.
Thank you so much, Ms. Felix, for your amazing story. I myself am a communication student, and I'm sitting here in absolute amazement at what I can achieve, being in the same situation, being a university student, thinking I can get my story done complete in 3 years when it's literally all about patience. But in this moment, we would like to remember Andrea Barrett, past student of the University of the West Indies, who unfortunately lost her life. And in this moment, in your story, it just reminds us of what she could have done, what she could have accomplished in her life, but unfortunately that chance was robbed of her. So in this moment, we would like to send our condolences to all of her family and her friends.
Yeah, we send condolences.
A truly unfortunate case. May she rest in peace.
So thank you, Chanel, for being with us. We want to wish you all the best from the UV St. Augustine Guilds and by extension the publications and the entire Campus Beats team. And we look forward to really reconnecting with you sometime before we finish this series to check in and see what's up. So do enjoy the rest of what time it is here, day and night?
It is about 12:30 in the morning.
Oh.
But thank you guys for having me. All right, I got to go study now. Later.
No problem. Bye. So next up on today's, I'm just gonna hand you over to Tamika, who will probably introduce us to our next segment in Campus Beats. Tamika.
Next up on our Campus Beats agenda, we will have our Guild one-on-one feature with none other than the postgraduate representative, Mr. Matthew Seeley. Kendall, you will take it away. Mr. Seeley, welcome.
So great. Good night. Good night.
Hi. Good night. Good night. Good night.
President.
Thanks for having me.
It's a great pleasure. It's our great pleasure having you here today as our first Guild 101, Guild 101 guest specie. And essentially, this segment is all about getting to know a little bit more about you, about your work, and of course, we're really, really happy to have you here with us. So, firstly, tell us, who is Matthew Seeley? Who are you, and why did you decide to, put yourself forward to be a part of the Guild of Students?
What's always interesting with that question is when someone asks you that, you really sit down and you say, who am I really? What is it that I like? What just what are these things about myself? Really trying to put it together. I would say I would like to think I'm a very relaxed person. My interests are very simple. I think I come like any other young male kind of thing. Interested in games. Cars. I'm a car enthusiast. that's really about it. I'm a student for renewable energy technology, and I am a passionate renewable energy and sustainable energy student as well. Sorry, something just in the background there. But yeah, I think that really. Mhm.
Renewable energy. Just tell us, finish your point and tell us what that degree is about. This renewable energy, because it may be a new thing for some of us hearing it for the first time. So just finish your point and just tell us a little bit more about that degree, and
Well,
that program that you're studying.
Yeah. So, well, let me lead with that first actually, because it will probably give a little more depth to what I would say about myself. Renewable energy is basically energy production, of course, from renewable sources like the sun and wind, ocean, geothermal, of course, and that sort of stuff. So the program itself in university is really good. I definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm actually, surprisingly enough, I was a student in biology and chemistry, and this is totally out of my field in a sense. So I'm kind of surprising and kind of surprised as to how I ended up here. And actually listening to Chanel, talking about faith and stuff too, it really made me think about, just looking at myself and how I ended up here in this particular program, and what it is I wanted to do, and trying to find this way to figure out what I want to do with my life and myself. So in terms of the renewable energy, so I was saying I'm a renewable energy enthusiast, also to an environmental enthusiast, all about recycling, reduce, reuse, clean environment, better earth for us. Right? I think that would personally really sum up a lot about me and, what I like, what I'm interested in. Also too, I guess you'll just probably find me down in a book or something like that. I think one of the worst things about COVID and not being able to go to the campus anymore is I would have found myself in the library a lot of the time, believe it or not, when I wasn't passing through SAC. Reading books and stuff like that, because reading is always so valuable, especially, when you're interested in learning new perspectives, learning more about people. And, especially in this guild position, that interest in people itself, I would say, is one of those big drivers for me in terms of why I would have run for the post. Also to, I actually, in my undergraduate time, I wasn't really involved in the guild or clubs or anything like that. I was always one of those students that, you see that guild thing, not for me. And then people are just a set of politicians, But in my first year of postgrad, I really saw a lot in my last year of undergrad, a lot of the things the guild does and a lot of the beneficial stuff. And then in my first year of postgrad, I wanted to see a lot more of that in our postgraduate space. Because in the postgraduate space, you don't really see a lot of events with just postgraduates attending. And I mean, we have a lot of challenges. You have people that are working, of course, people have families too, and there's a bunch of new dynamics. But really trying to bring that student-centered vibe from the postgraduate community and that integration of postgraduate students, I think, is what really kind of drove me. And in my first year, in my postgraduate program, I actually served in the NAC committee and the postgraduate committee. So that NAC committee too, I would say again, myself as a student, I was never very vocal or into the whole advocacy and, always into, the different societal issues that we face and that sort of stuff. But, being involved in the guild and being involved particularly in the NAC committee, it made me also reassess the importance of our outlook and probably how we engage in some of these societal problems, because we all have a responsibility to it. But also too, I think what it really put into me as well is how I view the Caribbean region and myself as an individual that lives in it and a young person that lives in the Caribbean region, and what it is I would like to see, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but also to the developments for the region on a whole, and I think those are some of the stuff that, probably really pushed me towards running for the position. And, that really has just been my focus. And COVID, unfortunately, has been here. So, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the one-on-one interact with students every day kind of thing that I really was hoping for. But,
Definitely.
I still think there's a lot that we did in terms of the, processes, efficiency, administrative work that really needed to take place, that, we've been able to really straighten out, to really set up for even the next Guild Council to really be able to just kill it in the next academic year.
Great. And I like how you mentioned that, because for most of all, we know that time is ticking. we are weeks away from another Gill elections. We are a few months away when we all have to say goodbye to this lovely
Most
institution that
definitely.
we give our students. What advice would you give to the persons who probably may be considering, or postgrad students that may be considering running for the position of postgrad president? To what advice would you give to them, and why should they jump and give themselves that opportunity to serve?
I think definitely what I would say, the advice I would give is, I'm not gonna say it's an easy task. It is a very demanding task at times. I'm going to be honest, and that's not to stray anyone away from it. It's a very rewarding task, and it definitely is manageable. Of course, I think I would say time management is key for anyone that wants to run for Gill Council. I would say that is probably one of my biggest pieces of advice. I think that's probably one thing that really hit me, because I've usually been a person that kind of just like goes with the flow. And, I don't like to schedule. I just like to let things come and just go at it. And when I came into this post, I recognized, okay, whoa, to really be able to try to be efficient, you really have to be able to manage your time. So I think time management is number one. But I think too, I would say, find your passion in terms of the university space, and think about, what it is you want to see different. What more do you want to see, especially in the postgraduate space, because there's so much for us to really bring about change in. There's so many different spheres for us to do that. I would say, just think about what do you want to see as a postgraduate student, and find that drive and that motivation. And I think everything else will fall into place, to be honest.
Great. So we know that for those of us who are on the Gill students, you're very, effective, efficient person behind the scenes, not one to jump into the spotlight. So we know that you're on quite a couple committees and boards, and, just fill us in as to the role of one of those, I think, the Quality Assurance Committee. And just kind of give the students an update as to, what has been happening in terms of, firstly, what are those committees, and what are some of the things that you were able to achieve in those committees?
Okay, so I do serve on a couple of committees. We do have the AQAC, which is the Quality Committee, as you mentioned, as the Academic Quality and Assurance Committee. So that particular committee itself is basically designed on overseeing the quality of academic programs within the institution. One, ensuring that they meet particular standards for especially accreditation and stuff like that, which I'm sure most students would know, is very important. International accreditation, that's basically how your degrees are recognized. But also to, something that we would have been very influential on in this COVID time period is actually the programs themselves, the courses themselves, and how they would be run, and actually going in for each individual course and figuring out how the course would be run and how the course would be run now. That actually is probably one of the most crucial pieces of the AQAC committee, I would say, right now, definitely. And that is usually on the agenda all the time. Actually, a lot of the complaints we see from students in terms of, time windows and stuff like that, actually, that is the committee that those complaints go to. And trust me, they do go. And actually, I would say the university does its best to listen to a lot, I would say. We don't always see eye to eye on everything. But I would say, from what I've seen in some of the administrative staff, that we really have a lot of student-centered administrative staff. And I know still that it didn't mean the system was without kinks. And certainly, they themselves and your Gill Council, we're trying to work towards making it as smooth as possible. And I'm actually hopeful for this semester, because I'm thinking, this semester we'll really have it down to a T. We're actually looking forward right now to having the meetings to start approvals on some of those courses and courseworks and how they would be delivered and the mechanism. So time windows and stuff like that, those are among some of the main things we discussed there. But that's enough for AQAC. Also too, I do serve on the Academic Board Committee. Then that particular committee, that is basically the academic committee of the university. So all the lecturers, head of departments, deans, etc. make up that committee. So it's really big. And basically that's where we air all of the academic complaints or any changes to academic criteria, anything academic related that happens in university must pass through that committee. So there again is actually a lot of the AQAC stuff actually makes its way into that particular committee after. And I hope I'm not scaring people away with just talking about some of these committees. So that's for the academic board. We do also have the FNGPC, that's the financial and general purposes meeting. So we do also have representation there for the students. That represents a lot of the financial aspects of the university. So a lot of things like waiving of fees and stuff like that, or how we would address particular situations where students may need fees to be waived and stuff like that. That is usually the committee that those sorts of stuff are represented as. Anything money-wise usually goes to there. So a lot of even complaints too that you would send to the bursary and stuff like that makes it way to that committee in particular. And then also I serve on the Board of Graduate Studies and represent and research. That is for both the university and for the campus level. So they have it at both levels, university and campus. And so basically that is mostly for postgrad students. That basically encompasses everything I would just say. I had just said. It encompasses it at postgraduate level specifically. So that is our postgraduate space to deal with all of our issues that we would experience. Yeah.
Great. It would be remiss of me for you to come on campus, be the first episode, and not talk about the hot topic that would have affected postgrad students. I think that was one of the biggest curveballs that COVID would have thrown. And for those postgrad students that are recipients of the GATE program, we know that there were some changes as it relates to the whole GATE program. And a lot of the students, I know the Guild would have put out the communique about what was done and what were the outcomes of such meeting. But I know that there are a lot of postgrad students that, persons who are actually leaving undergrad, heading into postgraduate, who that may be a bit concerned. They maybe want to know. So let us know, firstly, what are the changes? What were the Guild's advocacy in terms of what representation was made? And last but not least, we know that postgraduate, the Office of the Postgraduate President offers support to students. Let students know what are the support that the Postgraduate Office and the University by extension offer to students who are in postgrad and who may be considering postgrad studies.
Okay, great. So firstly, we'll start with the GATE, and of course, basically, I think to summarize the GATE very simply, the position of the government now is that the GATE would no longer be applicable for postgraduate students in any form or fashion, and it would end for anyone who's currently on GATE as well in the August 2021 period. So if you're still a postgraduate student and you would have been receiving GATE, you're still in the system even after August 2021, you will no longer be receiving GATE. And I actually think, amongst the changes to GATE and actually the removal of GATE for postgraduate programs, I think that in itself, that particular one for students who were already in the system, was actually, an even bigger curveball in a sense, because now we had a lot of students wondering, well, okay, how am I going to go about paying this next portion that usually would be covered? So we had a lot of questions in that regard. Of course, as you said, we would have met with the Minister of Education and the Minister in the Ministry of Education. And, amongst many of the different GATE issues that would have been raised, postgraduate issue was raised. The position does remain, however, and it is a firm position, it seems like. So what we've done now is that there is the help loan, and that is, specifically for all students. And I really do implore students that it is available. It is useful. It is possible to attain it. Go look it up on the tertiary website. We ourselves too in the association, we're hoping to actually launch a bit of educational campaigns towards the help loan program as one of the means that can be used to help take you through your postgraduate studies, if it is that you're interested in pursuing it still, or you are there in the system and you do have this challenge now with no longer receiving GATE. What I would say.
Continue on, Matthew, sorry.
Okay, I would quickly address, what it is we're looking towards. We are, working with the Office of Graduate Studies to look at implementation policies that might be able to ease the burden of those financial situations, especially for the students that would have been left over from the GATE program that would no longer receive it. But also we do have scholarships in the Postgraduate Association. We only have the one, which is the TMEF. And usually if you were on GATE or receiving any sort of scholarship assistance, you wouldn't be applicable to apply for it. But of course, now that is now basically available to the entire campus populace of postgraduate students. So we would have that available. And what we're actually trying to do is revamp that particular scholarship fund and transition it more into emergency help fund as well, so that even more students can access it with the resources that we have available to us. And also too, we do also have 2 new funds that I'm hoping to get approved. And what those would do is that those are specifically for workshop funding and also too for publishing funding. And then I would say too, if it is you are a Toastmasters student, there are a few scholarships, very few, but there are a few scholarships that are offered by the Office of Graduate Studies. I think it's like 3 to 5 of them. And also too, if you are a research student, there are scholarships that are available within the Office of Graduate Studies too. So I really would implore students to do a bit of workshopping around the campus websites and stuff like that to find the information. Also too, we have set up a staff SharePoint. So what I'm hoping to do is have all of that information available to postgraduate students on our SharePoint website, as well as to documents on how to apply, how to get access to all these different funding options. Anything to that measure is what would be on that SharePoint website. Any information a postgraduate student would need, really. And I think that can basically sum up where we are at. And I would say, though, it doesn't end there, and there's still a lot of stuff we're looking forward to this semester in terms of getting more funding out to students and getting more scholarships available, especially in our Toastmasters programs that have very few, but also for our research students too, for all postgraduate students. So we do have some things on the table, so we're hoping to see them progress, and hopefully we do see them progress maybe by the end of my tenure, but definitely into the next tenure.
Great. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Matthew. Just give us your closing thoughts in terms of any sort of information that you would want to drop for us. I know that you're quite involved in a few. So just give us some closing thoughts, share your perspectives. Once again, encourage your students to, we constantly would be, promoting over the next couple of weeks, encouraging students to take the lead, step forward and make themselves available. As you all know, our student guild elections are coming up, and we want students next week. Tuesday is the deadline. So, Matthew, just give us some closing thoughts, and once again, make the plea the student leaders to make themselves available.
Definitely, I'm gonna start with first, follow our social media if you're not following already. Keep abreast of what's going on. Check it out every couple of days. Just see what's going on, because especially with a lot of information coming out of these special committees of the university, we would be trying to put it out in advisories and package it, all the important information for you. So just keep following us on social media to just keep aware of the information. Read your campus emails, stuff like that. A lot of key information passes through there as well. Definitely to the students that are interested in the elections, and even those that aren't, I'm gonna say 2 things. I think firstly, definitely get involved. And I mean, for some students, I would say if it is, you not necessarily feeling like you want to run, you don't necessarily have to be a counselor to get involved in the guild. The guild is more than just the 26 counselors that represent you. The guild is really each and every one of us. So, I would say to everyone, get involved definitely. But if you're up to the task, definitely consider it. It can be a rewarding experience, but also I would say just think about what it is you want to see more in your campus environment, in terms of student representation and student life, and really just bring it to the table. If you have ideas, just come forward. Don't be nervous about it. Just come and go at it, because I remember even myself, I was nervous to do this, and I mean, here I am now. And lastly, I would say to postgraduate students in particular, I would want to just highlight that, we're hoping to have an AGM for postgraduate students. We haven't had a general meeting for postgraduate students, at least for as long as I remember being a postgraduate student. I'm not sure how far back that would go in terms of when last it was had. But what we're hoping to do is actually establish a constitution and a strategic plan for what it is the direction of the association would be. And that would encompass things like income generation or scholarships and funding, representation, all of these key aspects. And what it is we're hoping to do is present that to the postgraduate population. And what we actually want from them is their feedback to make that their own, put their input in it. And then we send it back. We review it over this next 2-month period after we deliver it. And we make all the changes, and then we try to ratify it, both the plan and the constitution. And I would say definitely postgraduate students, come out and run, but also to take part in the elections. Come out and vote, see your candidates, educate yourself on what it is they want to bring to the table, figure out what you want as a postgraduate student, and come out and vote as well. I think that's really important and an important aspect of the elections too.
And one of the things that just to add, Matthew, is that it's very important for us to like not just say that you want to run, but really do some time, take some time to think over the next couple of days. Get your hand on the copy of the Guild Constitution, because it's very important to know what are the rules you're getting yourself involved into. It's not it's not an easy task. It's exciting. You would meet and network with persons virtually, of course, from across the different campuses of the university. But of course, let service be at the center of your decision. So without further ado, I know Matthew, you know that I keep what I will constantly call out and reach out to him. So do expect to see more of Matthew via this platform. So thank you very much, Matthew. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend and do have a productive night ahead.
Thanks so much. May I ask one more thing, if I may?
Sure.
I may just want to put out to any postgraduate students interested to, as you're educating yourself on the position, feel free to reach out to me, and I will share any information I can to help you on deciding if you want to run, but also to educating you on some of the processes and some of the things that I do in my office in particular. And I would implore any student, reach out to the counselor in your position and just figure out, what it is they do too, because that really would help aid your perspective in what it is you'd want to bring about. Thanks so much again for having me, Kendall.
No problem. All the best, Matthew. Thanks for your support. Okay, guys. So we're gonna jump right across. I know that we've been having a very exciting show tonight. Is episode 1. So please bear with us. I know that we've been going a little bit over and extended with the interviews, but we really want to get you informed or keep you informed. Next up, we are going to share a short, feature, because, of course, this is, we're celebrating Grenada independence, and they are having a week of activities, Grenada, big up Grenada, and we're going to have the Grenada Students Association on tonight. But before we go into that interview, I'm just going to share with you, and before I hand you over to Sabrina Mohammed, who is on hand definitely to share a bit more of Grenada and interact, who will be conducting the interview, or host. I just have a very, we're going to take a very short, spend a few minutes getting to know a little bit more about the beauty of what is our Caribbean island called Grenada, guys. So, so...
Imagine a place where time runs slow. A place where children still play, and a distinctive sound beckons villagers to net at bays. Imagine a place where outcrops of caved peninsulas isolate beaches of different colors, where corals adorn sunken treasures like jewels, and art, married with nature, offer breathtaking views to the unexperienced diver. Imagine a place where Mona monkeys playfully comb trees, and the aroma of spice-filled gardens entrap the mind and unlock the senses. There is such a place, pure Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Mani, located toward the end of the Caribbean archipelago, offers 3 unique islands in one fascinating leisure destination. An unspoiled retreat, Grenada offers an eclectic blend of legacy plantations and rich historic traditions, permeated by turquoise waters, refreshing waterfalls, and exhilarating sea and land excursions. Whether it's kayaking through the oysterbed mangrove, river tubing down the Balthazar River, or snorkeling the world's first underwater sculpture park, Grenada's diverse activities offer up the perfect blend of thrill and excitement. In Grenada, doors remain unlocked, and the people, warm and friendly, are content with a simple way of life. It's a place where romance blossoms into forever I-dos, and the discerning traveler yearning to bed her head can have her pick of boutique hotels, luxury villas, and even 6-diamond resorts. This is pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean.
Great. So Sabrina, we're now going to go to Sabrina, who's gonna take us from here. Sabrina.
All right, so good evening again, everyone. I am Sabrina Mohammed, and I am very excited today to be introducing and interviewing the president of the Grenada Students Association, Miss Arnell Waldron. All right, so I'll be welcome, Miss Arnell Waldron, everyone. All right, so we're going to be talking about the Spice Isle of the Caribbean today. All right, so Arnell, can you tell me a little bit about how you guys in the association have been adjusting to the pandemic in terms of keeping communication with your members who would have been here or who would have gone back home and so forth?
Good night, everybody. Thank you for having me on this. Well, GSA, Grenada Students Association, we are a small association, and at the moment we're a bit scattered. Right, we have members in Grenada, Carriacou, and Trinidad as well. However, we try to keep this our friendly connection via online platforms. And although we were unable to do physical activities, we tried to keep a presence, via social media. So we did a lot of posting on Instagram, informing the entire world on what GSA has to offer, what Grenada is about, and all sorts of things. So basically, we just keeping connected online, and when we can, whenever we can, whoever is in Grenada would come together and do a little something. Like last semester, instead of having a Tanya log sale, which we usually do on campus, we had a Tanya log get together. So we made Tanya log, which is something similar to a porridge made from Tanya. And we had that and we had fun, we played games and so on.
All right, great, thank you. And I know that right now the Grenada Students Association is celebrating Independence Week, right? And tell me about some of the activities that you all would have done or that is currently happening for the rest of the week.
Independence Week, we started Monday, February 1st, and we'll be ending on Sunday, February 7th, which is the actual day of Grenada's independence. The major activities we had for this week were a games day, which happens today. So we played this familiar game Among Us, relatively new, from which we had to find a traitor and whatnot. It was very fun having to come together and just break apart from the regular school schedule. Tomorrow night, please the Lord will be showing a movie. It's entitled Island in the Sun. This is a classic which has been filmed in Grenada and Barbados back in many years ago. So it'd be fun
Yeah.
to see what Grenada and Barbados looks like before now. Saturday coming, we'll be having a cookout, but that's a physical activity in Grenada with our members. And we would be happy to have our PRO, who is located in Carriacou. He would be able to join us for that event as well. So we're looking forward to that. And Sunday, the actual day of independence, is another online thing we would do. We just showcase in Grenada on Instagram.
All right, thank you. And can you tell me what does being Grenadian mean to you?
Yes, well, when I speak of being Grenadian, I can speak for every member of GSA. So when you see a Grenadian, you see versatility, friendliness, passion, love, compassion, high patriotism, pride, humility, strength, and supportiveness. All of these qualities is what makes us who we are, and it's what gives us the drive, to when we are out of country, to stand up for ourselves, to hold our head high, and to keep moving to keep moving on. We are not afraid to let people know where we are from, what we are coming from, the struggles we have faced, and so on. Because honestly, being Grenadian has really allowed us to develop the skills to strive and to tackle and to survive. And that is why everything we do, and we could speak from experience, every member that passed through the UE has been highly successful. If it wasn't for who we are, where we've been, our families, the support we have back home, we would not have been able to make it in a different island all alone.
Definitely. I know that when Trinidadians go out there in the world and see a fellow Trini, there's a very strong sense of camaraderie. Hey, from Trinidad! And that kind of thing. So I can very well imagine the pride that you all hold with each other when you happen to bounce up, as we say in Trinidad and so forth, and around the Caribbean. And tell me about how independence in Grenada is usually celebrated and how this year, because of the pandemic that is ongoing, how it may differ in certain ways.
Usually, we would have different national activities such as Calypso Monarch, Independence parades, cultural shows, cultural displays, and so forth, where everyone is free to attend, jump up, galvanize, and enjoy the festivities. But this year, they're having all of that, but it will be online via online platform. So the Calypso Monarchs, the cultural shows and everything would be going on as if people is there watching, but we're just watching through a screen. So it would peak this weekend. So I look forward to seeing how that would turn out.
All right, and just before we wrap up today, I want to ask you to share something about Grenada with us. Anything, your favorite thing, things that you like to do when you meet up your family, anything about Grenada that you want us to know.
Well, Grenada and Independence Week, once you get together, you see a lot of gatherings and plenty cookouts will be happening this week, this month, right? So plenty cookouts and not just oil down, which is our thing, by the way. So we have oil down cooking, manish waters, fish broth, and these things not just cook on a stove inside your house, but on firewood outside a cold pot next to a river or something like that. But with the pandemic, it will be done on a smaller scale, but trust me, it will be happening.
Yeah, definitely. Some great stuff happening over there in Grenada. And happy independence to Grenada. And I hope that everyone who's a part of the association, all the Grenadians who are looking on, that you have a great week. Not just because of our pandemic, it's going to dampen you. This is a time to really stand together, as Anna was mentioning before. All right, so thank you very much, Anna, for taking our questions and for being here with us. I would now pass you on back to Kendall and Tamika. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So great. We're moving right along. Next up, we are moving right along. We're gonna head across. We're gonna leave main campus, and we're gonna head right across to the Mount Hope campus. And with no better person to take us across there to let us know what is happening in terms of the virtual club space. We are now gonna introduce you. Vernon, take it from here and introduce our new next guest.
All right. Thank you so much, Kendall. Next up, we have the dynamic trailblazer herself, Nikizi, and she is from the African Student Union. And it's very fitting that we can interview her today because many of you may know that today is, or this entire month is Black History Month. So we're super excited to have her here. She's going to be some amazing, dynamic, world-renowned person very soon when she finishes up her degree. So we're very glad to have you here today. So Nikizi, welcome.
Thank you, Vernon, for that introduction. I appreciate it. All the high praises. Thank you.
Definitely. And let's start the conversation. So what inspired you to bring about your club?
First of all, our club was basically the genesis of it was a collaborative effort. Myself and a couple of my classmates, we are third year medical students now. We got together at the end of year 2 and we decided to formulate a club where we could provide a space for our students of the African diaspora, as well as students from continental Africa, to have a space to explore our own history, our own ideas, and a space for healing as well, a space for representation, because that was very much absent in Mount Hope. And we decided to take up the mantle of formulating a club which could provide such an environment for our students.
All right, that sounds pretty good. So why is it more important now than ever to, accept your Blackness and find a proper representation?
I think it was always important. However, right now the importance is being pushed into the mainstream a bit due to movements like the Black Lives Matter and events that were happening in the States over the past year that really triggered people to begin to think more about their Black identity, more about what their Blackness means to them, and how it affords them certain opportunities or doesn't afford them certain opportunities. And I think that the goal of becoming conscious of the ways in which we interact with the world, it's very important and pertinent right now, because it's something globally that is becoming a part of the conscious movement. And I think it would be remiss of us to not hop on that train and start to look towards ways to heal our Afro-Caribbean community and reform the Black identity as well.
Oh, wow. Yes. So even now, women have been in the forefront a bit more. We've seen in the United States the election and appointment of Kamala Harris. What's that significance to you, and what do you feel like? Give us a bit of insight into how Black women are influencing both the region and also the Black community.
Black women have been the backbone of the Black community, in very much underappreciated ways, but very much from the family to the professional space. We see Black women being trailblazers, trendsetters. We are always at the forefront. The acknowledgement may not always be there, but we are always there. We are always at the helm of what's happening and what's good in this world. Within the space of medicine specifically, there is actually, yesterday, I believe, America celebrated National Female Physician Day, I believe it was, where they highlighted women physicians in medicine, right? And the statistics to me was quite alarming, that only 35% of physicians in America are actually women. And out of that 35%, only 2% are Black women. So we don't have those statistics to reflect in the Caribbean, but we know that very much there is a long way to go in terms of Black women beginning to break into these spaces and make our name, leave our mark. And we have been doing it, but I believe it's beginning to happen on a greater scale, and I certainly welcome it, and I'm excited for it and to be an active part of it.
All right. So with that in mind, give us some idea of some of the activities that's happened with the African Student Union.
Okay, so our genesis really came about like last week. Our first semester of activities began last semester. And we began really with just a meet and greet. Our students were really excited to have this space. They had brought their ideas and their contributions, which we definitely listened to and applied to what we would have done within that semester. We began with an event called Examining Black Excellence, where we had a physician called Dr. Talia Casimir. She came on and she spoke to us about her unique journey as a Black woman in medicine, and especially having to go abroad, where most of us will have to go eventually to specialize, etc., and walking us through what that process looked like. Out of all our events thus far, I think our students really enjoyed that one the most, because again, representation does matter. And having a rundown of what their journey could possibly look like helped them to be better prepared for what they may or may not face in the future. We also took up an active role in the voice of ending sexual harassment on campus. We actually hosted the UWI Sexual Harassment Forum last semester in November in collaboration with IGDS, Ignite, Catcalls of UE, and of course TTMSC Scorer, where we began to facilitate an environment for people to learn about sexual harassment and for women to get the pertinent information they needed to handle situations like this if it were to happen to them. So we're not just stuck in one lane. I think we've really been diverse about the types of things that we've done as a club. We've also been active in how we in the education of our members. So, for example, we hosted like mock spotters for the year one, things like that. And this semester, our first event was actually called Reforming the Black Identity. And as I mentioned before, that's a very important theme and topic to us. Oftentimes, people, believe that slavery is Black history. And I read something yesterday on Instagram that said, slavery isn't Black history; it was white history. Black history goes further, much further than that, And I think that we don't know much of where we come from or who we are, and we've been misinformed about who we are. So reforming that identity and reframing it is definitely important right now. And we're going to continue to do so through having even more segments where we invite Black excellence and we examine the ways in which they reached to the level that they reached and how they accomplished what they accomplished as well for the rest of this semester.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like you still have a lot more in store for us for this semester. Do you want to give us a sneak peek as to something that you're working on, or is that going to be a secret?
Okay, so I can give you like one exciting detail.
Okay.
In our next segment of examining Black excellence, we will be having an inventor on. He's a physician and a medical equipment inventor as well. So essentially, it's really exciting because if you look back at the history of Black physicians in medicine, a lot of the surgeries, etc., that we use today were actually invented within the African diaspora or within the African continent, and we never knew about these things. Mm-hmm. And he's bringing his unique perspective as being a Black inventor today, and how his experience with his Blackness and his inventions played out, and the ways in which that presented unique challenges. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, wow. That definitely sounds exciting. And I promise you, I will be there. So for me, who's an interested member, a potential member, how do I find out more about the African Student Union? How do I get in contact and make sure that I'm in the front seat, though virtual, of your events?
Okay, so we're very easy to find. You can find us on Instagram at African Student Union. You could also email us at african.student.unionsta@gmail.com if you want to find out more about us. You could also feel free to message myself. My contact is 461-6619. Anyone who wants to reach out or join our WhatsApp group where we have a lot of interesting discussions as well, you can always message me and I can add you and we could go from there.
And lastly, are there any requirements to be in the club? Is it open to everyone?
It is open to absolutely everyone. We don't segregate over here. Anyone who wants to learn more about African history, anyone who wants to learn more about, systemic racism, topics like that are of a conscious nature, we welcome anyone from anywhere, main campus as well, that are willing to learn.
All right. Well, you gave us a wealth of knowledge. I'm truly excited for the upcoming sessions. I thank you for the work that you've done thus far. This is something that's new and definitely needed. And I encourage that space for people to be able to learn more, explore, and also feel like a part of a unit. So I appreciate all of your efforts. And I thank you for coming out tonight. I know you have a very busy schedule. You're in year 3. Things are crazy. So we definitely appreciate you coming tonight and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And I'll bring it back to you, Kendall.
So thank you, Vinan. We are very close to the ending of tonight's show, but before you leave, we have quite a couple more things, some exciting videos, some entertainment for you, and we're gonna share, give you a little sneak peek as to what is happening next week, guys. I know, how has it been? How has the vibe? How everybody feeling? Sabrina, Tamika, Vinan.
I feel good. I'm excited for the new semester. I hope everyone feels the same. It is tough, it's very tough because of COVID, but being a student is learning how to adapt and learning how to use that skill at all times.
One of the important things that we think, Sabrina.
Yeah, sorry. It's just taking a little bit, so I hope I didn't interrupt you.
Sure, no problem.
I'm pretty optimistic about the entire semester because I'm a theatre arts major and it's a very practical area that requires physical space. But we have been doing the thing online and it has been a great exposure. But I really hope to go back to DCFA at some point because, when you're at DCFA, home is home. So yeah, that's it for me. But pretty optimistic about what the future holds and what new opportunities this show and my program brings for me.
Great. Vernon, MedSci?
Well, for MedSci, I'm still in the preclinical aspect, so it's not too bad. But transitioning to online, you miss the camaraderie of being with your peers. I actually feel robbed of my Trinidadian experience because I'm in the Bahamas, so I didn't get to experience much. So I'm hoping that things turn around. I'll be able to experience all the roti and
doubles.
all the experiences, the doubles, walk down Carap again, just to be able to get the true Trinidadian experience. Because I felt like I got a glimpse of it and I'm craving for more. So I'm definitely looking forward to continuing that experience because
and the Trini Carnival.
Definitely Carnival, yeah. Because that's part of why I came to UWI Trinidad. I could have gone to Jamaica, I could have gone to Barbados, but there's something very special about Trinidad. So I definitely hope that I can get to, enjoy that experience once again. And I'm also excited about Campus Beats. This is a very exciting program. I can't wait to see what else you have in store. This is very innovative, especially in a COVID environment. It's safe and friendly, but allows us to, feel the experience of being on campus and connecting with students. And this is something that was definitely needed. So I definitely kudos to you and your team. The quality and the production is top notch. So just keep it going and I'll definitely be there to support you all.
Sure, great. No problem. For most of you all, for those of you all who are tuning in, let me say we thank you. We really, really appreciate you for taking the time out to be with us here today. And one of the things is that today, actually the 4th of February. Every year, we normally commemorate World Cancer Day. And that is very, a very, some of us, we all know someone that has been affected by various forms of cancer. And it's something that, I'm glad that we have Brennan here who can share with us a little bit about JGI initiatives to support the Just Because Foundation, that collaboration. Brennan?
All right, thank you, Kendall. JGI Hall was looking for a passion project. And being that we're writing Mount Hope, we wanted to not just live there, we wanted to be able to give back and improve that environment. So we were blessed to find out about Just Because Foundation that helps families and children of cancer. So one thing we decided to do that we launched starting from December is a charity drive in which we're trying to raise 10,000 TT dollars towards the ward because it's in desperate need of renovations. And one thing we would want is for the children to feel comfortable, to have that kind of home away from home feeling. So we're encouraging anybody who can to donate to the charity. You can reach out to us on our webpage, or you can reach out to me personally. My number is 434-8149. Just the area code 242 in the front of it because I'm in the Bahamas. But feel free to reach out to us and see how you can also jump aboard. Because one thing we want to do, we don't want to just be students. We want to impact the environments that we live in. We want to make change. So that was one way that we feel that we can reach out and help. And especially given the COVID environment where things are financially strapped for some people, we know that charity giving is sometimes put in the back burner because of other personal means. But we want to be able to make sure that these children are at least comfortable in the environment that they're staying in while they get treatment and try to improve their life. So that's something we're working on, and we welcome anybody to join and assist.
Great. Such a very interesting and dynamic sort of initiative. One of the things that we'd like to feature today, I know some of us, we all had our stories of trying to get, when we see that medical hole on campus, and I know that the UWI Health Services unit are definitely missing our presence, Tamika and Sabrina, as well of those of us who are on campus. some of us, just recalling the memories of us, seeing that medical holy, wondering what that is. Yeah, or even taking a shuttle, from Mount Hope to come onto campus to go to the health services unit, and all the struggles, we miss. We really, really miss that whole campus experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, all that, that makes us part of that UE campus vibe, that whole experience. And we have a very special message today from our resident doctor at the Health Services Unit in commemoration of World Cancer Day. So let us just take a message from our Health Services Unit at the University of West Indies St. Augustine campus.
Hello, good morning. I'm Dr. Amsaran from the Health Services Unit. Today, being World Cancer Day, we'd like to send out a quick message to encourage men to get tested for prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is the leading cause of deaths due to cancer in Trinidad and Tobago, and this can be prevented largely by early detection. Early detection involves taking a blood test for a component called prostatic specific antigen, and all men over the age of 45 should have this screening done. The Health Services Unit, in conjunction with the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, is frequently we conduct testing where it is that this blood test can be done. They are located outside the Health Services Unit, and on the 17th of February, you are encouraged to make an appointment to come and have this test done. The cost of the test is $180 TT. Signs and symptoms of prostate cancer include 1. Having to wait before your urine stream comes. 2. A weak stream. 3. Getting up frequently in the night. 4. Having a urinary tract infection means to say that there is a possibility that you could have an enlarged prostate. 5. Having hesitancy, meaning that you go to pass urine, however, you have to wait a while for the urine to come. We would like you please come in and have your blood test taken. It's a PSA, it's $180, and you can call us at extension 84455 or 82153 in order to make an appointment. Thank you very much, and we do look forward to seeing you when you come in to have your test done.
Every year, up to 3.7 million lives can be saved from cancer.
If we act.
If we act.
If we act.
This World Cancer Day. Let's change I might to I will.
Because we all have the power.
All have the power.
All have the power.
To reduce the impact of cancer.
So this 4th February.
I am Jax Jones.
I'm Sabrina Carpenter. I am Esther Des.
I am Nile Rogers.
I'm Taboo.
I am Maggie Rogers.
Hi, I'm Sean Mendez.
I'm Alessia Cora.
I'm Chris Wu.
Yo soy Luis Fonsi.
I'm Halsey.
I'm Jonas Blue. I am Will I Am.
And I will join the fight against cancer.
I will use my voice to raise awareness.
I will make healthy choices.
I will love and support the people around me who are going through cancer.
I will champion the doctors and nurses making a difference.
And I will fight for a cancer-free world.
Whoever you are,
tú eres la diferencia.
Whatever you do,
you will make a difference.
You'll make a difference.
You will make a difference.
Who are you, and what will you do?
Great. What a wonderful, message, Vernon. And
yeah, that was definitely encapsulating the feeling of making sure that we all play a part in fighting cancer. Because, cancer is a journey for anyone. It's not just one person. It allows all of us to be able to support that person. So anything that you can do to help anyone who is going through cancer, because we know it's not an easy road, I definitely encourage you to go ahead and support them. So that's a very powerful message, and I appreciate that today.
So we have so much. We had a very, very action-packed show. So we're close to the finish, but we're not yet quite done. And Sabrina gonna introduce you. We're heading back to Grenada because you all know that we all about the Grenada. We're celebrating Grenada independence. So we had quite a couple exciting scenes of Grenada. Sabrina.
All right. So good night again, everyone. So because of COVID and other sorry, my dogs are barking. So you just have to excuse me about that. Okay, and other restrictions. We are gonna be taking a virtual tour of Grenada. Okay, now it might cause some tears, but generally, I want you guys to really enjoy this. And perhaps in the future, you may end up there and be part of the Spice Isle. So take in this video now. Just give us a few seconds, guys. We have some technical difficulties. All
Hello,
right.
my name is David Ambrose, a certified. Hello, my name is David Ambrose, a certified tour guide with the Grenada Tourism Authority. Today I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of Fort George, Grenada's oldest surviving fort, and of the capital city, St. George's, as seen from the fort. Without any further ado, follow me. The French built Fort George from 1705 to 1710 and called it Fort Royal. The surrounding town was also called Fort Royal. The fort is a bastion fort and sits at about 160 feet above sea level. When the British captured Grenada in 1763 without firing a single shot, they renamed the fort Fort George. The name of the fort was changed again in 1979 by the People's Revolutionary Government to Fort Rupert. Rupert was the name of the father of Maurice Bishop, the leader of the PRG. Please join me and let's enjoy the view of the picturesque Carenage, the lagoon, Pandy Beach, and the 3 kilometers of white sand beach that is Grand Anse. This is a great place to relax, eh? And we're now in the bastion square of the fort. Follow me. Oh, that was interesting. We're about to enter the main square in the middle of the fort, and this square has a lot of history. The square itself has a pretty dark history because it is here where the Prime Minister of Grenada of the People's Revolutionary Government was killed along with several of his cabinet ministers. Are you enjoying the tour so far? Let's continue. The French decided to build this fort to protect the town of St. George from attack by other colonial powers during that period in world history. This concludes the tour of St. George. I hope you enjoyed this virtual experience. See you next time.
Tamika?
I'm just upset that I can't be there. That's all I was thinking. Oh, I can't enjoy that. It reminds me of Tobago, honestly, quite a bit. It's interesting to see that a lot of the islands we might think we're different, but a lot of the things, a lot of our history is always related. But beautiful, beautiful island. I definitely look forward to going to Grenada one day.
Guys, that was such a very picturesque, very, very beautiful picture. It's really, really, really some place I definitely want to visit post-COVID is Grenada, and I really, really want to say that for all our students who may not necessarily be in Trinidad and Tobago, but our regional students, we're here for you. We're right here with you every step of the way. We're gonna check in with you. We want to hear. This campus piece is really all about us students, I should say, not you, but us students, our views, our vibe, highlighting all, because we are indeed the University of the West Indies. And we're really coming down to the pinnacle. This is the entertainment. As you all know, in Trinidad and Tobago, next week is Valentine's Day. So we have something very special for you all for Valentine's Day. We also have giveaways, not this episode yet, but coming up, as well as, we're gonna have a bit of, carnival. So we don't know which celebrity is gonna pop in next week, guys. You gotta keep it tuned and connected. Sabrina from the CFA, she know that's her thing, the carnival. I know Vernon, we all call it the help me out here.
Jump.
Yeah, in Bahamas. So I know carnival is a big thing. So stay tuned to Campus Beats, and we have a couple we really want to see before we come back to wrap. This is a young man. His name is Joshua Reguelo, and he's from the San Fernando, and he's quite very dynamic on the pan. And we were very blessed that when I reached out to Joshua, he, pledged his full support to the project. He said, sure, go ahead, no problem. And we're very much happy to give you a few pieces. We're going to hear a few pieces. We're going to hear a cover of Patrice Roberts' Tender. We're going to hear Dexter Daps. And last but not least, we're going to hear Backyard Jam. So we have a few entertainments. Sit back, enjoy, share the live. Feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to heal a friend. So just dress back. We have some entertainment in store for you, and we're going to be right back to wrap. Yeah. So as is customary, guys, we're live and these things tend to happen. But great. So that is Joshua Reguelo. So it comes, all good things must come to an end, unfortunately. So guys, thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Campus Beats. I am now going to pass you over to my fellow co-hosts, we're gonna just wrap this show, and we're gonna leave you with a piece from Joshua Regualo. So, Sabrina.
Sorry, Kendall, you're breaking up for me. What did you say?
You hear me now?
No, it's really, really bad. I'm so sorry.
Great. I know that. So we're gonna get back to Sabrina. We know that in live productions, we know that these things tend to happen in terms of technical difficulties and stuff. But what we're gonna do is that we're gonna hear from our other co-hosts, our guests, who's first and foremost Renan, and then we're gonna take it to Tamika, and then we're gonna get back to Sabrina, and we're gonna wrap. So I want to say a very special thank you on behalf of the Publications Committee. It was our pleasure, being here with you today. I want to say a very, very special thank you to the entire committee. My committee is probably one of the largest committees. So I don't want to risk leaving out anybody, Aaron or Sean, Liana, Candice, AJ. We have quite a couple of persons, guys, and you would be introduced to the team in a couple of weeks. So, Renan.
All right, thank you. It was a pleasure joining the session today, and I look forward to what's in store for Campus Beats moving forward. I definitely want to send warm greetings from the Bahamas to everyone. I ask you all to stay safe. To my residents from JGI, y'all know I love you all. I'm still here for you. And to all the students in UE, I'm just reminding you to hold firm. We know that COVID has not been easy for everyone, but definitely know that we're supporting you. We're here. We want to make sure that we can continue to connect even through the virtual platform. But please remember to stay safe. Follow the safety protocols in your country, because we look forward to reuniting with you soon, so we can have this in person and we can go all out then, because now we won't have the restrictions. But thank you all for tuning in.
Definitely. I just want to take this time to say a special thanks to all of the special guests that we had today, and some of the knowledge bombs that they dropped on us. Marketing guru, Ms. Felix. We had Chris Charles from the African Student Union, and Mr. Matthew Seeley from the Postgrad. He is the postgrad representative. We just want to take this time to thank them for being here, because in all honesty, they could have easily said no. So, and don't forget, guys, Guild nominations are on. Go on to the Facebook and Instagram pages of the UE Guild. Nominate. This is your chance to select who you want to be in the Guild chair, who you want to run things. It's because of you that we are here. So don't forget to send in your nominations.
All right, can you hear me now? You're stuck for me again. Oh my gosh.
We're definitely hearing you, Sabrina.
Okay, great. All right. I just want to say thank you to Kendall and my fellow co-host today. For this opportunity. It's always nice to have a show like this, and to really showcase that we, the members of UE, can do this also, and to really present opportunities, not just for our Guild of Students, but those who are also looking on our show. Seconding what Tamika said about the Guild nominations, and thanking our hosts and guests today. Remember, we're going to be posting our question. Do you think the ongoing Guild has done a great job? So look out for that. And we look forward to hearing your feedback. All right. So join us again next week. Same time, same day. And yeah, look out for more posts during the week. All right. Thank you very much for being here, guys.
Great. And next week is Valentine's Day. So it's all about we heading into Valentine's Day, and we also have Carnival. So we're gonna mix this up a little bit. Talking about a carnival, it's a banker. I know that
I don't know if you're the same I did those videos made me miss. It really is an honor to be Caribbean. It is an honor.
So from all of us at Campus Beats, Vernon, myself, Sabrina, and Tamika, good night, everyone. We wish you a productive, get all the A pluses this semester. Those stress, taking mental health breaks. I know some of you all had assignments and stuff, but you still took the time to be here with us. So I want to thank you. I want to send a very special thank you to our Guild president, of course, Mr. Warren Anderson, and the entire team of the Guild of students. And I really, really want to encourage you, students of the university, get involved and sign up. So from all of us at Campus Beats, do have a good night. We now leave you with a wonderful song of Joshua Regello, of course, and he's going to play that runaway hit that we all know and love, Farmer Nappy, Backyard Jam.